Welcome, traveler, to Power in Words. In the vast, echoing chambers of our digital world, it is easy to feel adrift, searching for a signal, a voice, a spark that reminds you of the universe you hold within. Consider this space your sanctuary, a place where language is not just a tool for information, but a source of profound energy, a catalyst for the light you carry. We gather here not to escape the world, but to find the strength to transform it, starting with the one person you will spend your entire life with, yourself. Today we stand before a mountain of a thought, a statement delivered by a mind who fundamentally reshaped our understanding of the cosmos, a man who was the very epitome of knowledge. And yet he gave us this stunning paradox. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Let those words settle. Feel their weight. Albert Einstein, a man whose knowledge included the sacred architecture of space-time, the very mathematics of God, made a conscious decision to place the intangible, ethereal, seemingly childish faculty of imagination on a higher throne. Why? This was not an offhand comment. It was a compass, a map to a hidden treasure, and perhaps the most vital psychological truth we are ever likely to encounter. In a world obsessed with data, with metrics, with what is, Einstein championed the what if. Let us first speak of knowledge. Knowledge is a beautiful, sturdy, necessary thing. It is the solid ground beneath our feet. It is the collected wisdom of our ancestors, the lessons learned from scraped knees and broken hearts. It is the textbook, the equation, the historical fact. Knowledge is the room we build around ourselves. We furnish this room with our experiences, our education, our beliefs, and our past failures. We label every piece of furniture. This is a chair, an object for sitting. This is a failure, a reason not to try again. This is love, based on the last person who broke our heart. We paint the walls with the opinions of others, the rules of society, the way things are done. And for a time, this room is comfortable. It is, above all, safe. It is predictable. Our knowledge confirms our biases, and our biases protect us from the terrifying, unpredictable wind of the unknown. We become masters of this small, finite room. We know every crack in the plaster, every creak in the floorboards. We call this being realistic. We call this being an adult. But here is the profound and sometimes tragic nature of this room. It has no windows. Knowledge, when it is not irrigated by imagination, becomes a fortress. And a fortress, no matter how well stocked or well defended, eventually becomes a prison. Have you ever felt the walls of your own room closing in? Have you ever sat in the stagnant air of your own certainty, feeling a deep, aching sense of incompleteness? You know you should be grateful for the job, but your soul is suffocating. You know the statistics about starting a new business, so you never write the first line of your plan. You know the patterns of your past relationships, so you protect your heart by never fully offering it again. This is the tyranny of knowledge. It is the past, weaponized against the future. It is the mind, a perfect database, strangling the heart, a wild, unwritten poem. Now let us speak of imagination. Imagination is not, as our inner critic would have us believe, a frivolous escape. It is not making things up. It is the most potent, most divine, and most terrifyingly powerful tool we possess. If knowledge is the room, imagination is the key that unlocks the door and reveals the infinite star-dusted sky outside. It is the architect that dreams the cathedral before a single stone is laid. Knowledge can build a hut. Only imagination can conceive of Notre Dame. Imagination is the native language of the human soul. It is the faculty that allows us to see the invisible. Einstein didn't discover relativity by looking through a telescope. He imagined it. He asked a child's question. What would happen if I rode on a beam of light? He placed himself in his mind's eye outside the known, and in doing so, he pulled the entire human race forward. This is the psychological mechanism of all true change, all true healing. You cannot know your way into a new life. You cannot analyze your way into becoming a better person. You can only imagine it first. Think of the person trapped in the grip of a deep depression. Their knowledge is a list of failures, a heavy blanket of gray. Their knowledge confirms that nothing will ever change. The pills can help. The therapy can provide tools, knowledge, but the spark of healing, the very first moment of recovery, is an act of imagination. It is the tiny, fragile, almost rebellious thought, what if? What if it wasn't always like this? What if one morning I woke up and the air felt lighter? That what if is imagination. It is a seed. It is a crack in the prison wall. Think of the artist, the musician, the writer. They do not merely report on the world. That is the job of knowledge. They create worlds. They channel something that did not exist before, using the raw materials of human emotion. A composer hears the symphony in the silence. A sculptor sees the form trapped within the marble. They are not transcribing, they are imagining. And in the process, they heal us because they give us a blueprint for seeing the beauty hidden in our own solid, uncarved blocks of pain. We live in a world that starves the imagination and force feeds knowledge. We are tested on what we remember, not on what we can dream. We are rewarded for conformity, not for originality. We are told to be practical, to stay in our lanes, to color inside the lines. But the lines are an illusion. Consider the story of a young woman who grew up in poverty. All her knowledge told her that her world was small, that her destiny was written by her zip code. The knowledge of her environment was a chorus of limitations. But she had a library card, and in the book she read, she didn't just find information, she found permission. She imagined herself as the heroines in the stories. She imagined herself speaking different languages, walking through different cities. Her imagination built a bridge, step by step, out of her circumstances. Her body was trapped, but her mind was free, and eventually her body followed her mind. She became the person she first imagined being. This is not a fairy tale. This is the fundamental mechanics of human transformation. Your current life, the one you are living right now, is the physical manifestation of what you have known and imagined thus far. If your knowledge of your own limitations has been greater than your imagination of your own potential, your life will be small. If you want to change your life, you must first change the vision. This is where the psychological battle is truly fought. It is easy to say, just imagine a better life. But the moment you try, the army of knowledge rises up to defend its territory. The moment you imagine starting your own company, the voice of knowledge whispers, you don't have enough money, you're not smart enough. Remember that time you failed in 2018? The moment you imagine a loving, healthy relationship, the voice of knowledge shows you a slideshow of your past heartbreaks, screaming, it's not safe, you will be hurt again. Knowledge is the ego's bodyguard. Its job is to keep you safe, which it defines as the same. Imagination is the soul's messenger. Its job is to make you grow, which it defines as becoming. This is why Einstein's statement is so profound. He understood that knowledge is the launch pad, but imagination is the rocket. Knowledge is finite. It is a closed circle. We can add to it, but its very nature is rooted in the past. Imagination is, by definition, infinite. It is the open frontier. It is the territory of the new, the uncreated, the possible. So how do we do it? How do we reclaim this superpower that has been systematically educated out of us? You must create space for it. You must silence the noise of the known long enough to hear the whisper of the possible. This is what meditation is. This is what walking in nature is. This is what losing yourself in music or art is. These are not luxuries. They are vital acts of psychological hygiene. You are clearing the runway so the rocket can take off. You must feed it. Read poetry. Listen to music that transports you. Look at art that confuses you. Talk to people who are nothing like you. Break your routines. Take a different route home. Do anything that jolts your mind out of its familiar grooves. Imagination feeds on novelty. It starves on repetition, and you must protect it. When you have a new idea, a new dream, a new vision for your life, do not offer it to your critics for dissection. Do not show your fragile newborn seedling to the person with the herbicide. Treat your imagination as the sacred, incubating space it is. The world was not changed by realistic people. The world was changed by men and women who, against all knowledge and all evidence, dared to imagine something better. The abolitionist imagined a world without slavery when knowledge said it was an economic necessity. The suffragette imagined a world where she could vote when knowledge said she was biologically unfit. The innovator imagined a device in your pocket connected to all human information when knowledge said a computer filled a room. Your own personal revolution will begin the same way. Your knowledge tells you who you are based on who you have been. Your imagination invites you to become who you could be. You are standing at a crossroads. One path is well lit, paved, and predictable. It is the path of knowledge. The other path is a winding trail into a dark, shimmering forest. You can't see the end, but you can feel a pull, a calling, a sense of magic. That is the path of imagination. Einstein, the man who knew more than almost anyone, gave us permission to choose the forest. He gave us permission to value the mapmaker over the map. He reminds us that the ability to create is a higher human function than the ability to remember. The facts will change. The science will be updated. The knowledge of today will be the history of tomorrow. But the impulse to dream, to create, to envision a reality greater than the one we see, that is eternal. That is the engine of the soul. That is the power in words, and it is the power in you. Do not let the facts of your past define the poetry of your future. To continue this journey, to feed your mind with the power that transforms, subscribe to Power in Words. Like this message if you felt that spark, and let us walk this path of discovery together.